Welcome everybody to my first video of the new series. This is why I love a specific video game. I'm Max and today we start with a year-long favorite of mine, Arma. Just to give you a brief overview for the video. I will start with all the things I really like in the game, but also what I really dislike, or where I see room for further improvement. I also share my wishes that in my opinion should make it in the future games. If you want to share your thoughts as well, feel free to leave a comment below. So, let's get started. Even though my background clips are focused on the latest release Arma Reforger, the aspects mentioned translate on Arma 3 and above. The reason for all that is that I started to play the series with Arma 3 and gathered up to almost 4000 hours in Arma overall. The game is a military simulation developed by Bohemia Interactive that focuses on modern warfare since the Cold War era. If I had to describe the game to a freshman in only a few words, it would be tactical, intense battles, walking simulator, teamwork, community, and scale. Shall we begin? Okay, let's start with Chapter 1. What I love about Arma. When you start up the game, you will realize that there is no real progression system like in other shooters. You just join a server, select a side to fight for, and you're ready to go. Some will say that a game with no progression system can't hold the players for a longer period of time. However, Arma achieves just that with its wide variety of content that brings all of the different military playstyles to life. It doesn't matter if you want to be a basic rifleman, part of a tank crew, a artillery group, a fighter pilot inside a helicopter, or a high-tech jet. Also, things like logistics and diving, as well as operating drones, are covered in previous games and will follow with future updates or with Arma 4. The modding community is a giant part of that variety, and Bohemia tries to make the game as modding friendly as possible to ensure that it's easy to develop and bring mods to the players. For me personally, it is interesting to see the dedication and precision with which mods are made. In the last months, many weapon, vehicle, general overhauls like Vietnam or Modern War modifications have made it to the game, that bring new uniforms, equipment, terrain to fight on, and gameplay systems. For example, for the last few days, I dedicated my playtime on fully modded servers and I had one hell of a time. Always changing battlefields with people around the globe that share the same playstyle that creates strategic gameplay fully automatically. With this unique gameplay, you learn pretty fast. If you go alone, you die alone. Teamwork gets you way further than usual go in and shoot mentality. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Arma can be quite a walking simulator. This is due to the giant maps that share size in over multiple hundreds of square kilometers. For me personally, this isn't a bad thing, because I don't need action every minute. Arma has this rare phenomenon that sometimes it's very silent and suddenly a huge firefight starts that lasts over several minutes or even hours. Due to the realistic gameplay, where often only one good bullet is capable to take you out, it forces the player to play way more thoughtful in general. I must say, it's insanely satisfying to hit someone over 300 meters while the target is moving, and all that with one single bullet. There's no loading a full mag into a person and he is still in a state good enough to bring you down. Depending on the server you choose, people actually try to be as tactical as they can, may it be with their communication on the radio or approach on the battlefield by throwing smokes when they know they have to cross an open field under fire to get to the original destination. As in many other games, communication is key, and it's time for another example. You ask someone for a pickup on a specific coordinate, and people actually try to help you by car or even helicopter to get from point A to B. Also, I must say, I prefer titles where you have the possibility to connect with the community just by playing the actual game. I don't want to sit in my room for many hours and don't hear a single voice all day. This just makes the game feel empty in general, and you sometimes get the feeling that you play against slightly better AI. The last point I really appreciate in the game is the love for detail. Often I realize when playing other titles that specific features just don't get thought about, or just weren't important enough for the developers. Things like a realistic night sky are adding a massive amount of atmosphere and create a pleasing surrounding. Sometimes, when you just walk through a silent region on your way to the next fight, your mind starts to think about the actual beauty of the environment. With the finish of the last point, we will take course to the next part of the video. Chapter 2: What I dislike about the game. With all the positive things I can say about Arma, I have to start with the biggest and most fatal downside: performance and crashes. Even with a good PC that's not too old, you have to go on low graphics to get 60 FPS. In my case, this might be because I play on 4K, but also friends of mine that play on standard resolution don't gain the 144Hz of their monitors. Don't understand me wrong, the game still looks beautiful as it is, but it is annoying to realize that you could make it look even better if the game was better optimized. That's especially annoying if you have a good PC. If we start to talk about crashes, it became way better since release. Every single patch, many crash reasons get fixed and almost none still exist in the game. They still do, but occur way less than to release, where you couldn't even play for an hour without a crash. Although the updates that Bohemia provides are fully acceptable, many people think that the amount of new updates just take too long. It's clear that quality has to take its time, but I can't get rid of the feeling that they could release more often while keeping up the rate of high quality patches. What? You love complex controls that take quite a bit to get the hang out of it? No? Well, Arma got one of the most complex controls that I know of in a game, especially when some mods drive this even into more extreme levels. Many hotkeys are only reached by pressing Ctrl and Shift combinations, and therefore in a hectic situation hard to press, and could cost your life in the end. As a new player, this will take some time to get used to, but in my opinion it's worth in the end overall. And this brings us already to the last negative point. If you like games that are playable in a short period of time, Arma is probably not the right game for you. Depending on the mode you play, it takes multiple hours to finish. Now that we are through with the positives and negatives, we start with the last and final part of the video. Chapter 3: Wishes and Improvements. One feature that definitely needs to get developed is a queue join system, so you don't have to camp a server until someone leaves. If this was possible while being inside a group to join simultaneously with your friends on a server, would be a much needed quality of life improvement. Another awesome piece of gameplay would be if you were able to open doors in different unique ways, through kicking it, shooting the door handle, or slowly opening it to the point where you have a little opening to look through. Naval warfare is also an enormous part that's neglected. Submarines and battleships would make a fresh addition to the game and give even more playable roles. Besides that, a way to communicate with hand signs in silent operations would be awesome as well. I want to see a well-coordinated group that is able to give their orders only through hand signs, so everyone fully understands about the plan, even at night or at difficult situations. The last point that I really wish for is destructible buildings and vegetation. I want to place C4 at a house wall and blow the whole wall inside into the next room. Or even better, destroy the whole building. Imagine an artillery tank shooting into the woods and you see trees getting bent over and splintered like matches. This could also add a nice way to lay ambushes by destroying bridges to cut off supply lines, or power lines to kill the light inside a whole town. So now that we have everything covered, I want to thank you for sticking with me until the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to see you in the next one, when we start to talk about another This Is Why I Love video game. If you have feedback, please let me know. Until then, stay healthy and bye bye.